All right, here we go. Review for Unit 2. The big test is coming up. All right. Let's sit back, get a pencil, start learning. Let's see if you remember everything that we're going to talk about. First thing we're going to talk about is all the different ways to express a relation. Remember, a relation is just a group of ordered pairs that go together. So we're going to list them. X with Y, X with Y, X with Y, X with Y, and X with Y. For the table, you actually list all of them. Graphing, remember, X tells you either go right or left, that's first. Then it tells you to go up or down, and that's second. So we're going to go to the right one, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to make little dots, hopefully you can see them. Then we go left 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. Left 1, stay there. That 0 says don't go up or down. Then right 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do not connect them because it's just a set of ordered pairs. It's not an equation. The Twinkies, my favorite. Remember, this is your X values, otherwise known as your domain. These are your Y values, otherwise known as your range. You do not repeat from this moment on. From this moment, all of these do not repeat values. Working in the tutor room, I have seen that most teachers want you to put them in numerical order. So if that's true, you would put -3, -1, 1, and 5. I'm only listing 1 once, even though it shows up twice, because I don't repeat values. My Y values start with -1, that's my smallest, then there's a 0, then there's a 4, then there's a 5. Again, do not repeat values. So now I gotta look. -3 maps to 4. -3 maps to 4. 1, I'm going to start at the top. 1 maps to 4. 1 maps to 4. 5 maps to -1. Woo, way up at the top. 1 in the domain maps to 0 in the range. And then 1 in the domain. Was there a -1? Oops, ignore that last one. Whoopsie doodles. That's a -1 maps to 0. And then 1 maps to 5. See how easy it is to make a mistake? Be careful though. So again, this is kind of a teacher preference if they want the numbers in numerical order. If they don't, I'm going to put some more little Twinkies right over here. You could just list 1, then -3, then 5, then -1. You could list 4, -1, 0, 5. Then you could say 1 maps to 4, -3 maps to 4, 5 to -1, -1 to 0, and 1 to 5. Okay? Either way. Then the domain, this is the nice thing about the Twinkies. Remember, all we do is list what X values we have. -3, -1, 1, and 5 do not repeat values. The range are the Y values, -1, 0, 4, and 5 do not repeat values. Is this a function? Some of you had a little trouble getting linear and functions messed up. Function just means no X repeats. Okay, the other thing that we had is it passes the vertical line test. So those are the two things we talked about. If I'm looking at my graph, see right here, a vertical line, I've got 2 points on it, that fails the vertical line test. If I'm looking at my little Twinkies, right here, that 1 shoots to 2 different numbers, that means the X repeats. Right here, I've got 1 and a 1, lots of different ways to find out this is not a function because we have domain values that repeat. So are the following functions explain why or why not? We just talked about that. If it is a graph, you're looking for the vertical line test. Can you draw vertical lines and hit the graph only once? Does every line only hit the graph once? The answer here is yes. So this is a function, and your reason is it passes the vertical line test. Nothing to do with it has to be a line. You could see ones that weren't lines. A lot of you on the first quiz thought that was an issue. Nope. Passes the vertical line test. It's a function. So right here, I've got x's paired with y's. Look at this 3. See how it shoots off to 2 different numbers? That means 3 is used twice. So this is no. 3 repeats in the domain. Okay, or you can just say an x value repeats. All right, this did not go well on the first quiz. So let's see what we've got. Maybe we're better by now, huh? Apparently we're doing only the G function on mine. If you notice, my numbers are 7, 9, 11. These are odd. That means your tomorrow Follow Me video is going to be the even numbers. So instead of G of x, I have G of -5. X and -5 are in the same place. What that means is you're going to write the G function. You're going to leave the x out and put parentheses in there. What are we putting in place of x? -5. Now, -5 squared means -5 times -5. So that is positive 25. 2 times -5 is -10, and then there's a -5 there. 25 minus 10 is 15. 15 minus 5 is 10. So that's your final value. This next one has 2 parts going on with it. We've got G of A, and then we have +3. I'm going to do that in a different color. Look at me, I'm getting smart here. +3. So the first thing we're going to do is G of A. Anytime we have the G function with a replacement in place of the x, we're going to write it leaving parentheses where the variables were. Then what is back here? +3. Just tag that along at the end. You're going to put A in everywhere there was an x. A squared is A squared. 2 times A is 2A. Then I have -5, and then there's that +3. The only thing I can combine are the -5 and the +3, and that's going to be -2. Here we've got the same kind of thing happening again. I've got G of 2 inside my parentheses, and then outside I've got a 3. So I'm going to write 3. Then I'm going to put this big old what do I need kind of guy, and it's the G function. I've kind of got it memorized now, guys. What am I replacing x with? Look right here, I'm replacing it with 2. So I've got this 3 still outside. Inside 2 squared, that's 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 times 2 is 4, -5. I'm still going with the inside. Remember your dear Aunt Sally? She says clean up that whole inside first. So 4 plus 4 is 8, -5. So I have 3. Over here I have 3. My answer is 9. I put that in yellow because you guys keep doing that to me when I'm grading. All right, are they linear? State why or why not. Linear, this is different than is it a function. Linear has rules to follow. Our rules are you cannot have an x in the denominator. You cannot have an x under a radical. You cannot have an x and a y multiplied together, and you can't have an x, y, and a z. You must have at least one variable. These are all cannot haves. So basically what I do when I'm doing are they linear is do I have one of those things? Nope. So this one is linear. Yep. This one I've got x, I've got a y, I have another variable, but it's still an x. Is that okay? Yep. This one, x is in the denominator, so it's not linear, and you have a variable in the denominator. Okay, you got to remember the difference between is it a function and is it linear. Function, no x repeats, vertical line test. Linear, those 4 rules have to apply. Find the x and y intercepts. Okay, I got a hard one. I'm going to go backwards on this one. I'm going to start with 21. For the x-intercept, I'm going to look for x and let y equal 0. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put 0 in for y. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 4x equals -6. 0 minus 4x is -4x. When I divide by 4, or -4, I have negative over negative, that's positive, and 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. For the y-intercept, I'm going to let 0 equal x, and 0 equal x, and I'm looking for y. So now, I wonder if I could lasso that and move it over. Do you think I can? I don't think I can. Nope, you can't do that on the video. How about that? So I'm going to let x equal 0 this time. So it's going to be 0 in place of x. So 4 times 0 is 0. 2y minus 0 is 2y. And then I divide by 2. Remember, we said a couple of things. First of all, x and y intercepts have to be points. They are points. If you're looking for x, you let y equal 0. You don't need a y. If you're looking for y, you let x equal 0. Algebra is, what did I do? What do I have? Keep on going step by step. Now, this one is a special line. You should see just x equals and you should think special. And your mind should actually go right to Hoy Vux. I'm looking at the one with an x. So if I was to graph this, I would go to where x is 5 and draw a vertical line right there. Remember, that means vertical. So where is my x-intercept? It's at the point 5, 0. If I just have an x, it will only cross the x-axis, so there is no y-intercept. Oh, tricky, tricky. Solve for y. That's what you hear. This is what is happening in your head. Get y alone. So to get y alone, I'm going to subtract 5x. I'm going to subtract it from both sides. There's algebra. Tell me what I've got. What did I do? Now, what's left over? I have a positive 5y. Sneak the negative 5x in front and the minus 10. Remember, you cannot combine those because they are not like terms. Then I'm going to divide everything by 5. Those cancel. I have y. Negative 5 over positive 5 is negative 1 with an x, and negative 10 divided by 5 is 2. I'm going to rewrite this one over here. 3y plus 2x equals negative 9 because I don't have enough room. To get y alone, I'm going to move the x. So I'm going to subtract 2x. What do I have left over? I have 3y. Sneak the negative 2x in front. The 9 is also negative. Divide everything by 3. Those cancel. You have negative 2 over 3 with your x, and negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Graph with a t-chart. Okay, so some of you are used to seeing it this way, where you've got x here, y here, and you put the function in the middle. You know what? If we don't give you that, you can write it on your own. But what has to happen first? You have to have y alone. So I'm going to subtract 6x. So I have 3y equals negative 6x, sneak that in front, minus 12. I'm going over here because I'm running out of room. 3y equals negative 6x minus 12, divide by 3. I'm going to get rid of this for a sec. I have y equals negative 2x minus 4. Now, a lot of you are going, all right, I'm going to use a slope-intercept. You're going to lose 3 points because you're going to get a point for this point, a point for that one, and a point for that one. So if all you do is get the graph, you're going to get 1 out of 4 points. That's 25%, people. Not good, not good. Okay, what goes in for x? Remember, your x values are always the denominator, 0, and the opposite of the denominator. So what's my denominator here? 1. So I'm going to use 1, 0, and negative 1. So for this first one, I'm going to say y is going to equal negative 2 times 1 minus 4. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. That's 1 to the right and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next point, I'm going to use 0, changing colors. So I'm going to have y equals negative 2 times 0 minus 4. That's 0 minus 4, which is negative 4. Don't go left or right, go down 4. Negative 1, doing it in blue. Y is going to equal negative 2 times negative 1 minus 4. That's a positive 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. That's left 1, down 2, and you should have a nice straight line. Where can you do all the arithmetic? Oh, that's right, on your calculator. Next Next slide. Graph using x and y intercepts. So remember, the x-intercept, we're looking for x, we let y equal 0. So we're going to go 0 equals 1/2 x plus 1. A lot of people want to just deal it with that, but you can't. You got to get rid of that plus sign. So I'm going to subtract 1. So I have -1 equals 1x over 2. Depending on how your teacher taught you to do this, you could now cross multiply 1x equals -2, and you have your answer. You could multiply by the denominator, and you get your answer. You could multiply by the reciprocal. Lots of choices depending on who your teacher is, okay? All things considered, we get -2 equals 0. Go left 2, don't go up or down. X-intercept falls on the x-axis. Surprise! Not, you should know that. For the y-intercept, we're going to let x equal 0 and solve for y. So we have y equals 1/2 times 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Don't go left or right, go up 1. Surprise! It's on the y-axis. And draw your beautiful line. Again, could you do that using slope and y-intercept? Yeah, but how many points is this problem? 1, 2, 3. If you only get 1 out of 3, that's a 67%. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. Ooh, y equals mx plus b. We've been wanting to do this all along. So we can't start there. Remember, we're going to start with y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to write y minus equals parentheses x minus, and I'm going to fill in my numbers. There's x1, y1. So it's y minus 4, because that's y1. Slope, -7. X is 5. So now I have y minus 4. We're going to distribute. -7x plus 35, and we have to get the y alone. So y is going to equal -7x plus 39. I hope we're not graphing that, because 39 y-intercept, woo, doggy, that's high up there. Okay, what's wrong with this one? I don't have a slope, so I'm going to go to my slope. Remember, x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which becomes plus positive. 0 over 6. Oh, there's a 0, there's a 0, there's a 0. I have to either decide if this is undefined or 0. If the 0's on the bottom, undefined. If the 0's on the bottom, undefined. If the 0's on the top, then a 0's what you got. If the 0's on the bottom, undefined. Hey, 0's on the top. That means it equals 0. 0 takes me right to Hoy Vox. A 0 slope is a horizontal line. A horizontal line has an equation of y equals. Look at my two y's. They're both 3. Yay! Next slide. Write an equation in slope-intercept. Oh, it's the same stuff. Okay, so x1, y1, x2, y2. Got to find the slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 8 over 4 is equal to 2. Set up slope-intercept. Grab y1, put it right there. Grab the slope, put it right there. Grab x1, put it right there. Okay, oh, look at this. What's y minus 0? Y. Don't have to do anything there. Over here, I'm going to distribute 2x minus 2. Bada bing, bada boom. We're done. Okay, this one they gave me the slope, so I'm just going to y minus equals parentheses x minus parentheses, and we're filling it in. Grab y1, 2. Grab the slope, 3. Grab x1, -5. Bing, 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 bing. Plus positive. Don't forget, a minus negative becomes a plus positive. So I have y minus 2 equals, we're going to distribute 3x plus 15. I need to get rid of that minus 2. So I've got y equals 3x plus 17. Oh my gosh. Just in case you're keeping track, we're on slide 11 of 17. Now we're on slide 12. All right. Write an equation. When we write an equation, remember, we're always going to start here. And by always, I believe we decided that was 96.4% of the time. What I need is x1, y1. Got them. What I need is the slope. Don't got it. But this information right here, this line has a slope of -1/3. If I'm going to be parallel, I'm going to use the exact same slope. So I'm ready to go now because I have all my information. Grab y2, y1, put it right there. Grab the slope, put it right there. Grab x1, put it right there. Minus negative plus positive. This is where I'm going to take, oh, I can't find a color I like. Here we go. I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to sneak it up here and multiply it by that y minus 2. I'm going to drop that 3, make it -1 equals x plus 3. Distribute. 3y minus 6 equals -1x minus 3. Add 6. 3y equals -1x plus 3 and divide by 3. Oh, holy moly. I got to stop writing so big. Y equals -1/3 x plus 1. Boop, 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 boop. Slope-intercept form right there. All right, now this one. I've got x1, y1. I don't have a slope, so I look here. Oh, is y equals 2 one of my special lines? That's a special line, isn't it? So I'm going to go to Hoy Vux. My line is horizontal. The equation is y equals. Parallel means I also want, if this is a horizontal line, my line parallel also has to be horizontal, which means my equation has to be y equals, look at my point I'm going through, y equals 7. Choo, 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 choo. Bada bing. Bada boom. Slide 13, lucky 13. Ooh, wow. This must have been the end of the group because that's a lot of slide for one little problem. All right, again, I have x1, y1. I don't have my slope, so I'm going to this information. Oops, whoops, 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 whoops. Y equals 2 is a special line, right? It's my special Hoy Vux. Which one is it? I'm dealing with y, so it's a horizontal line. This is horizontal. So if I'm perpendicular to a horizontal line, that's like if I'm perpendicular to the floor, which way does it have to be? It has to be vertical. So perpendicular would be vertical. So I'm really not Hoying this one. I need to Vux it. So I'm going to say x equals, look at my point, x is -9. Lucky 13. Okay, 14. I'm helping you just in case you can't count. Write an equation aligned with the given slope to the given point. Leave your answer in standard form. Uh-oh, got to go back to my mind. Standard form is ax plus by equals c with rules. No fractions or decimals. The ax term must be positive. And we can have no common factors other than 1. Not really something we deal with a lot in Algebra 1, but it could be an Algebra 2 thing. So I'm going to start the same old way because I'm writing an equation of a line, and that's how I start everything. I'm going to grab y1 right there. It's 4. I'm going to grab the slope, -3/2, and I'm going to grab x1, -6 plus positive. I'm going to take this denominator of 2 and sneak it up here. 2 times y minus 4 equals -3. The denominator's gone now. X plus 6. I'm going to distribute 2y minus 8 equals -3x minus 18. Okay, I just did the distribution. I'm going to get the y term by itself just because I need to. I just feel the need. So those cancel. I have 2y equals -3x minus 10. I'm going to rewrite that over here. Now, at this point, my inclination is to divide by 2, but that gets my y alone. That's not what I want. I want standard form where the x and y are on the same side. So that means I have to move that x over. So I'm going to add 3x. To move stuff from one side to the other, we add or subtract. 3x goes first because it tells me ax. 2y is positive, so I put a plus 2y equals, and over here I have negative 10. Let's check. Fractions, decimals, we're good. Is my x term positive? We're good. No common factors? We're good. That's my standard form. Parallel, perpendicular, or neither to this line. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and put this, I'm going to divide this into 3 parts right now. I'm going to put 3x minus 2y equals 6 in the middle. I'm going to get y alone. The only time I don't get y alone is standard form. So I'm going to get y alone. Okay, we've done this a lot, so I'm not talking you through it. I'm just talking about my life. How was your day? My day was okay today. I'm recording this on a Saturday. It's absolutely beautiful. Hope it's beautiful today. I don't know. It's the future. I can't see it. I know it's hard to believe. 2 negatives cancel out, become a positive. 3/2 x. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Here's what's important. My slope is 3/2. In order to be parallel, I have to have the same slope. Perpendicular, opposite, reciprocals. Remember, we have to op and flop. Neither of those. So on this one over here on the left, number 47, y is alone, so my slope is 2/3. So I am looking at a positive 2/3, comparing it to a positive 3/2. Well, they're reciprocal, so obviously it's perpendicular. They are not opposites. This one is none. They are reciprocals, but they are not. That doesn't even look like reciprocal, does it? Wow. I hope your notes are better than mine. They are reciprocals, but they are not opposites. So on this one, again, the slope is given to me. So my slope is negative 2/3. I'm comparing that. This is positive. That is not. Oh my gosh, what idiot's doing that? ID10T Club again. That's negative. This is positive. So we got ops right now, right? Are they reciprocals? 2/3, 3/2. They are reciprocals. So when it satisfies both, they're perpendicular. Okay, oh, I was all excited. We only have 2 more slides. It's a story problem. All right. Hannah's Electric Company charges her 11 cents per kilowatt. Do you remember what per means? Per is our slope. So I have 11 cents per kilowatt hour. That tells me, remember, the slope is the change of y's over change of x. So that tells me if I was writing a point, my y's are money and my x is kilowatt hours. And we've got a $15 basic fee every month. So we want to represent our our electric bill in a month. So it's going to be, the bill is going to be the basic fee of $15 every month plus the change times our kilowatt hours. We're going to call those X, okay, because that's what we called X. So to make it look better, we're going to say Y equals 0.11X plus 15, because we like X's and Y's. That's our equation. How much will her bill be if she used 750 kilowatt hours? Kilowatt hours are X, so that means I'm going to put 750 in for X. So Y is 0.11 times 750 plus 15. All right, I just paused it. I'm going to be honest because I don't know what 0.11 times 750 is. So I got my handy dandy calculator. It is 82.5 plus 15. Boy, I'm glad I get to use a calculator. So her bill in December was $97.50. All right, last page. Amy wants to take dance lessons. Oh my gosh, my kids took dance lessons forever. They're so expensive. It costs $15 per lesson plus a one-time sign-up fee. So remember, per is going to be our slope. The one-time sign-up fee is going to be our y-intercept. That's where we begin. They didn't give us that. They gave us this information. So let's write our slope. Our slope is $15 per lesson. Remember, that's the change of y over the change of x, which tells us lessons are x and money is y. So if I'm going to write this as a point, it's going to be lessons as x, money as y. So there's x1, there's y1. Guess where I'm going? Well, I'm going to dance lessons because I'm taking Amy. I'm going to grab my y1, 105. I'm going to grab my slope, 15, and I'm going to grab my x1, 5. Y minus 105 equals 15x minus 75. I'm going to add the $105. So y equals 15x plus 30. That's our equation. The question is, do we understand the equation? What this means, this is the rate of change. So what changes? It's $15 for each lesson. So one lesson's 15, 2 lessons are 30, 3 lessons are 45. Oh, believe me, it adds up fast. Then this thing, our y-intercept, is where we begin, so that's the fee. That's what it's going to charge you just to walk in that studio. So what is the sign-up fee? It is $30, and what represents it? The y-intercept. Okay, the beginning thing, the thing that's going to happen no matter what, is always the y-intercept. How much is it going to take to, or how much does it cost Amy? Oh, I think that's funny, Amy. Oh, it's going to cost Amy's parents to take 12 lessons. Lessons up here we said were x, so we're going to let x equal 12. So y equals 15x plus 30. That's our equation. I'm going to put 12 in place of x. I'm going to go to that handy dandy calculator again, because can you believe I don't know 15 times 12? I'm a little goober. So I have 180 plus 30, and that tells me that it's going to cost $210 for Amy to take 12 lessons. But it will be worth it to see my baby little Amy up there on the stage as a star. Oh, let's put a little Walk of Fame star here for Amy. Oh, and some twinkle toes. I don't know how to draw twinkle toes, so those are twinkle toes. Hey, have a great day. Test in 2 days. Woohoo!